Hello, guys. Welcome back to Examining Fictional Heroes. Been a while for multiple reasons. One of those reasons being uh, I'm working on projects that are really time sensitive right now. Not going to get into that, but it's uh, it's got to be my main focus right now. However, there are some things I want to get to, and I'm going to get to some of that. And I'm going to read today from this book. I've read parts of this before. Almuric by Robert E. Howard. This is his only interplanetary adventure. You may think that compares with John Carter by Edgar Rice Burroughs. It does not. They're totally different. And I'm not actually going to get into the differences now, but there are several differences in these two stories or books. As I said, this is his only one. He never wrote anymore. And we know there were several Mars, Venus, etc. books written by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'm going to read a small excerpt from this. What I want to concentrate on mostly, however, is the last part. So, my life was not empty. It was crowded with adventures calling on every ounce of intelligence and physical power. When I swung down from my chosen eyrie at dawn, I knew that I would see the sunset only through my personal craft and strength and speed. I came to read the meaning of every waving grass tuft, every masking bush, each towering boulder. On every hand lurked death in 1,000 forms. My vigilance could not be relaxed, even in sleep. When I closed my eyes at night, it was with no assurance that I would open them at dawn. I was fully alive. That phrase has more meaning than appears on the surface. The average civilized man is never fully alive. He is burdened with masses of atrophied tissue and useless matter. Life flickers feebly in him. His senses are dull and torpid. In developing his intellect, he has sacrificed far more than he realizes. Once again, it's that last sentence that I want to build on today. In developing his intellect, he has sacrificed far more than he realizes. I would say that in the day and age that Robert E. Howard lived in, which was the early 20th century, that phrase applied fit better than it does today. Basically, 100 years later. What we are dealing with the rise of the internet and the introduction of AI, is not, for the most part, us developing our intellect. These things are actually detracting from our intellect. We use the internet, we use social media, and we use AI largely as a distraction. Now, I read a lot, not just my old books. I read articles and all kinds of things in magazines and online. But I also take time off, if you will, kind of let off some steam. I'll look at stupid junk, watch stupid movies to de-stress. There's nothing wrong with that in moderation, as they say with most things. But I keep hearing talk about what AI is doing and how we're not thinking as much. And I hear a lot about self-driving cars and things of that nature. I've said this before, guys, we are losing skills because of these things. People are losing the skills required to drive because of the added safety features, which we were at first dealing with, but now even more so with the advent of self-driving cars. And I hear people say, oh, well, I can get work done while the car drives itself to where I want to go. I would say that you are one in a million if you actually do work while that happens. You're probably going to be screwing off, just like you spend most of your time doing anyway when you're online. Not to mention the fact that you should still be cognizant and aware of your surroundings, whether something is driving you or some other person is. You always need to be aware of your surroundings. And especially if you're in a self-driving car to which you are actually supposed to be able to take over at any time. If you're not paying attention to what's going on, you don't know you need to take over. But on the other hand, as I said, if you're relying on that thing to drive you around, you are sacrificing skills. Especially people my age. We used to have all kinds of phone numbers in our minds. I don't have that anymore. It's all on the phone now. What is my mind filled with now? Who knows? It's not phone numbers. It's not addresses. It used to be that we had to have our minds filled with much more pertinent information than we do now. And the rise of these things does not free our minds most of the time for good, but rather for ill. And at least this is the way I see it. If you differ, feel free to let me know. Also, I appreciate any likes, dislikes, comments, follows, etc. I know I haven't been doing much lately. Actually, I haven't been getting a lot of traffic for several months. So I've slowed down, besides the fact that I have other projects. So I'm always interested in what other people have to say. And I do appreciate the input. Until then, guys, I hope you all got something out of this. I hope you have a good night and a good week. Thank you.